Okay, let's get into it. Performance reviews.
Ah, yes, that annual, joy.
Right, that moment you sit down and they start talking about growth, but there's this little voice
Hmm.
whispering, is this just like a setup for more work?
Or when areas for development sound suspiciously like you're doing more, but, not getting more.
Exactly. And you're trying to make eye contact while secretly thinking about your escape plan, or at least your lunch.
It's a common feeling.
So welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We've been looking at this source, 112.pdf, and we want to give you more than just a summary.
Think of it as decoding the game.
Yeah, a backstage pass to the whole performance review dance. Because, let's face it, there's often this tension.
Definitely. Between the official goal, development, and the reality of, workload and pay.
That feeling of, oh, here we go again when the meeting invite appears.
Almost everyone gets that, I think.
So our mission, really, is to give you a sharper way to look at it. Maybe have a bit of a laugh, too.
Help you navigate it more strategically, less stressfully.
Right. So you're not just being reviewed. You understand the review. We're digging into two main things from the source.
What are those?
First, the subtle art of looking totally engaged while maybe you're planning your next move.
The appearance versus reality.
And second, figuring out what's really being said, reading between the lines.
Vital skills. Understanding those undercurrents, the unspoken stuff, it really can change how you approach the whole thing.
Okay, let's dive into what the source kind of outlines as the hierarchy of performance review survival. Starting at level 1, the engaged employee.
Sounds positive.
Well, it involves mastering the 70% intensity nod. You know the one.
I think so. You're nodding, but maybe not fully nodding.
Exactly. You look like you're taking it in, but the force suggests the internal thought is often something like, I hear you, but I do not consent.
Huh. That's quite specific. It's interesting that nonverbal dance, signaling attention,
Without actually agreeing, and everyone sort of plays along, right? It's a performance of engagement.
it often is.
And the bonus tip here, taking notes looks great, very proactive.
Standard practice.
But what are you really writing? According to this source, maybe things like, why does this feel like a hostage negotiation? Or is this actually useful?
That rings true. The note-taking looks good on the surface, but the thoughts underneath, often more critical of the process itself.
Okay, moving up, level 2. The selective amnesiac.
Selective amnesiac. Sounds intriguing.
The key phrase here, delivered with just the right touch of eagerness, is, I'd love to revisit that goal.
And the hidden meaning?
Basically.
Yeah.
I will forget this in approximately 3 minutes. Or just, nope.
Right. Strategic deferral. A way to sidestep something unrealistic, maybe, without a direct fight.
Exactly. And the pro move for this level, when they bring up something tricky,
Yeah.
just ask innocently. Could you elaborate on that?
buys you time.
Yes. The source cheekily suggests it buys you just enough time to, say, quickly update your LinkedIn profile in another window.
That's multitasking. But asking for elaboration is a legitimate tactic. It shifts the focus back.
Makes them justify it more.
And sometimes reveals if the feedback was a bit thin to begin with.
Okay, top tier. Level 3, the quiet quitter.
The famous term.
The outward sign. Saying something like, I'm really aligned with the vision. Sounds great, right?
Very agreeable.
But the internal reality, as the source puts it, is more like, my vision involves the logo of a competitor.
So complete mental checkout. The agreement is just a facade while you're job hunting.
Pretty much. And speaking of that disconnect, we got a great listener story.
Oh, yeah.
Boss called them a rock star, a superstar, then gave them a 2% raise.
Ouch. That stings. Inflation alone.
Right. So their response, purely internal, mind you, but very satisfying. All emails to that boss are now mentally composed in Comic Sans.
Comic Sans petty. I love it. A small silent rebellion.
It really captures that frustration, doesn't it? When the praise and the reward just don't match up.
It absolutely does. Leads to that feeling of, well, why bother going the extra mile?
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. The source talks about the LinkedIn sleight of hand.
Sounds like magic.
It's about signaling you're open to looking, but subtly. Yeah. Step 1, the thoughtful pause.
Okay.
You furrow your brow, look like you're deeply considering their feedback,
Mm-hmm.
while you're actually clicking open to work on your LinkedIn profile.
The simultaneous actions. Using the review as cover.
Clever, right? Then step 2, the distracted leader move.
What's that?
Suddenly your screen freezes.
Oh, no. All that deep thinking must have overloaded the system.
Convenient.
Gives you a perfect excuse to minimize the 15 job application tabs you had open.
Leveraging the unreliability of technology, a classic.
And step 3, the proactive follow-up. You send a nice email summarizing the discussion points, shows you're listening,
Looks very engaged.
while behind the scenes you're scheduling interviews based on the LinkedIn activity from step 1. 2 parallel tracks.
Managing the present while actively building the future elsewhere, it's efficient, in a way.
The source even adds a pro tip if you're worried about involuntary eye rolling.
A common risk. Claim your camera is broken. Especially useful during those "we're a family here" speeches.
A tactical visual buffer. It acknowledges the, let's say, performative aspect of some corporate speak.
Definitely. Now, what about that question? The one everyone dreads. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ugh, the crystal ball question.
Our source offers some emergency phrases.
Yeah.
First, the corporate ambiguity.
Let's hear it.
You say, brightly, "I'm just really excited to contribute and grow wherever the company needs me most."
Very flexible, very team-oriented.
The internal translation, according to the source,
Yeah.
just pure, intense internal eye rolling. Basically, lies.
It's safe, though. Non-committal. Buys you time without lying outright about specific plans you don't have or don't want to share.
Okay, next tactic. The reverse psychology.
Ooh, flip the script.
Yeah, when they ask about your 5-year plan, you turn it back. That's a great question. I'd actually love your perspective. What growth opportunities do you see as being most valuable here?
Huh. Puts them on the spot.
The source says basically, watch them short circuit, trying to answer.
It's actually quite smart. It deflects, but also tests their investment in you. Can they even articulate a path?
Good point. And finally, the vague manifesto.
Sounds grand.
You launch into something like, well, I'm deeply focused on adding value in dynamic spaces while leveraging synergies and driving impact.
Wow. That's a masterclass in buzzwords.
Exactly. The translation. My bags are packed, metaphorically speaking. I'll be updating my LinkedIn status to employed elsewhere by Friday.
It says absolutely nothing, but sounds like you've thought about it deeply. Fulfills the obligation of answering.
We also got a neat listener hack. This person at Performance Review Ninja
Great handle.
suggests recording your reviews, then transcribe them later.
Why?
To pull out the specific keywords and phrases they use to describe good performance, then you weave those exact words into your resume and LinkedIn.
That's actually really smart. Using their own language to appeal to future employers, or even back to them if you stay. Very proactive.
And for a bit of fun, the source suggests a listener challenge. Performance Review Bingo.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Make a bingo card with all the classic cliches. Low-hanging fruit, think outside the box, circle back, synergy, bandwidth.
Areas for growth, obviously.
Oh, center square, definitely.
Mhm.
It makes the whole thing a bit less painful, maybe,
Yeah.
and highlights how predictable it can be.
A way to gamify the jargon. I like
The
it.
source gives an example. Manager says, you're almost too efficient. Maybe you should pace yourself a bit.
Uh-oh. That sounds like do less work for the same pay.
Exactly. The internal quiet quitting bingo square you'd mark off might just say, pay me more or I will pace myself, thanks.
It really gets to that core issue of valuing and rewarding actual productivity, doesn't it?
Totally. So just to wrap up what we pulled from 112.pdf, we talked about the strategic nod, the sneaky LinkedIn updates during the review itself,
The art of the vague answer.
and using corporate speak like a shield.
And the underlying idea, really, is that understanding these games, these unspoken rules, it gives you back some power.
Lets you navigate it with more awareness, maybe less frustration.
You approach it more strategically.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about all the energy spent on performance reviews. Preparing, stressing, decoding.
It's a lot of collective energy.
What if you could take even half of that energy
Yeah.
and put it towards something that actually helps you grow or gets you where you want to go? Worth considering for your next review cycle.
That's a powerful question. Is the system serving its purpose, or is it just, well, corporate theater requiring survival skills?
Food for thought.
Yeah.
And speaking of workplace skills,
Yes.
next time on the deep dive, we're tackling something truly essential. How to look busy when you've finished all your work.
Ah, the art of strategic mouse jiggling.
Exactly. A comprehensive guide. You won't want to miss that deep dive.